Ladies and gentlemen,
What are your qualifications?
boys and girls,
And he said, I'm afraid. I used to smoke, but I gave it up because someone told me that it would take 10 years off your life.
now is the time where
And it keeps getting funnier every single time.
myself and Jim are going to speak.
And so the homeowner, he jumps up and he grabs one of the rocks and he
Not again.
there's a it's a walkout. Yeah, right. It's a walkout basement.
Every Friday night.
I hate this neighborhood so much.
Ta-da-da!
Well, Jim,
Where is that cat?
we got rid of the cat.
Are you sure it's not just like running through the halls?
You know,
Become feral?
at the Broadway studios.
That'd be awesome.
Just a feral cat just out
And it's
running
like,
around.
It's now got like 9 letters. It's like in the ducks because I've been watching the Aliens again, all of the director cut Alien versions.
Okay.
They're in the ducks. They're hiding.
Are they much different? I don't really watch the TV versions of Aliens, to be honest with you.
The what?
Yeah, of Alien and Aliens, because then everyone
You've only seen the cut for TV versions?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've not
Brady.
seen I've not seen the actual.
Bud.
Yeah, the AMC version of.
Oh,
Alien.
yeah, no, dude.
Aliens.
No.
I've actually been wanting to watch it because I played the Alien Isolation
Yeah.
game with my buddies while we were in college. It was terrifying.
Yeah,
And,
the first one's almost like a horror film.
yeah,
It's-
I'm excited. I'll have to go back and check. I almost
Yeah.
bought them all on Blu-ray because
the
they were like
first
15
two
bucks.
the first two's all you got to worry about, and then I kind of get into Prometheus in Alien Covenant
I
a little
forget
bit.
those are the things still.
I get
yeah.
it, but that's just because I like the mythicism and the mythology of it, and so I like where it came from. And a lot of people make fun of me that I like Prometheus, but I don't care what people think. We already established that.
It's been a week. What have you been up to?
Oh crap! I started Little Women this morning. Finally,
Okay.
dude, all the Little Women are in that.
All the Little Women.
They're
It's
all in
basically
there.
an Oscar wet dream on that movie.
Oh my goodness, dude! I had no idea. Like the chick from Midsommar.
Midsummer.
Oh, you're not on yet. You can't just start talking.
Florence Pugh.
We'll get into the Florence. Our guests are already they're like, oh, they talk about something I want to talk about.
Florence Pugh. My sister loves her.
Yeah.
She like,
So does my mother.
and so we'll get to that because she's great.
But I started it, so I just wanted to see if I was going to watch it because I've been saying it's on my short list. So I'm like, okay, let's just see if I'm going to watch this movie. So I started the first 20 minutes of it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's my sister's favorite movie.
Yeah,
ever.
it kicked in really good, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie. I'll probably watch it tonight when I go home.
Awesome. I haven't yet. This week has been rather lazy of me.
I've been moving Uncle Nate. I've been moving
Uncle
myself.
Nate that was here last week.
Yeah, we're premiering actually in about 8 minutes. My short film's premiering on YouTube. It's going live.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
Exciting.
So, well, you can only release them so often on the YouTube because of the algorithm. If you release them too soon, then it gets lost. It gets buried, and everyone's like, "When are you going to release that thing?" And I'm like, "Well, I have to wait for a little while so that it kind of resets itself." So
at
people
8:30 yesterday when we released this.
Yes, yesterday.
So by the time that everyone
Gets
listens
around
to
to
this,
listening. Yeah, you can go on.
You can
finally
watch
go
it.
on, and it's again, it's so people understand. Kind of like the movie I picked this week. It's for adults. It has adult language and adult content.
Not like the movie that you suggested this week. Definitely not for adults.
That is definitely for adults. And with Samuel L. Jackson, as soon as you saw Samuel L. Jackson, if you didn't kind of get where it was going from there, then but we'll get there.
All right, we have a couple people, and I feel awkward just having them.
No,
sit here.
man, I want to see how long we can just see how long they smell nice.
Yeah, they do a lot better than
just let them sit here.
some
Than
of
Uncle
the-
Nate.
No, I wasn't going to say names, but
I'll say it.
he's not going to listen. So
He
doesn't.
won't even know. I'll say he's smelly.
We got the farmers here. We got Alicia. Alicia, is that right?
Alicia Farmer.
Alicia, and your mic is hot now, so you can't talk to it now.
Yeah, you got to get right in there too.
And then
Sweet
we got
spot.
we got
am Alicia
There you
Farmer.
go.
there it is, and then we got John Farmer as well.
Yep.
So welcome.
Are you guys into the beets? Are you into more cabbage?
Actually, it's more corn.
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 See, that's where I come from.
Yeah,
Corn.
corn country.
He's from Payson, so.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
we that's all we grow out there is corn. So, well, we really appreciate.
That's true.
He just turned that into sad.
That's all we ever knew.
It's corn, and
I came from corn.
I built this from corn.
Right.
Well, we appreciate you. And remind me. So, Jim and Alicia, you guys were in contact on one of the pages, right? That's how
Yeah,
or no, I posted on. You said, "No, we're always down to come on," right?
Yes, I
don't
said
know.
I'm always down.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I've talked to John a few times online as well. Like we've bumped into the same conversations quite a bit as well. So.
Does Jim anger you as the rest of the world? He gets angered from Jim. It's okay if he does.
No, it's more like John's page is a platform for hate and extremism, and that's just
Not
kind
hate.
of his.
I really don't like hate.
Well, it's chaos. He's a chaos.
He
coach.
likes to find the niche as well to cause people to anything that makes people feel outside of their comfort zone, or anything that makes them feel like something that they believe that they are absolutely. They won't even listen to this other side of it, which is hilarious because even if you have like proven facts, or they don't want to hear it, they just want to wait for their turn to talk, and he's really good at itching at those people.
And your page is what, like, exactly?
It's just my own personal page,
and all he can say is, "Hey guys, the sky is blue," and pretty soon it
becomes something about Trump because it's blue versus red, and it's like
people can't just get along. I mean, everyone's gonna like what they like.
He loves that.
I'll put out a post basically calling everybody out from both sides. It's like you both are doing it. So
you're just like causing fire. You're like you see the pot of gasoline, you have the match.
Yeah,
I will no actually.
John's page is the match.
Here's the way I see it. I have an opinion. It's the way I view the world. If you don't like it, I give you a platform to speak your mind. And I personally like learning the other side.
Yeah, that's
I
smart.
may not like it or understand it, or it may enrage me, but at least I understand.
It's entertaining.
And then I want to get into their head, like, how did you even come to that conclusion? Like, did you get dropped on your head, or did your dad beat you stupid? I don't understand which one it was.
It's like when you watch The Joker, you're like, wow, that is a really terrible person. I like watching where this is going, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then there's people like me who I'll take the other side of an argument just because I'm bored. And really have no.
See, now that's a chaos mage.
You are the platform of the chaos mages.
He is literally like just like loves to watch chaos happen.
I love it.
Joker and him.
I love it. I think it's great that people get so enraged over something that they don't like. They literally have nothing. It's not in their control whatsoever, and there's nothing they can do about it, and they get so upset about stuff. Like people who get mad at me for the movies I like, and I'm like.
That's usually me.
Yeah. He's all like, he gets mad at me. He's all like, you tear apart the things that I love.
You're not allowed to have an opinion.
Exactly.
And I'm all like, I know I'm only one of 4 people that watch that movie. I get it, man. Make fun of
Joker?
me for it. No, I watched, like, for instance, Oldboy. Like,
I have something.
I thought for sure I'd get him to turn. I thought I'd get him to turn this one off. I didn't think he'd get. I thought he would say, I tried.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it, Jim.
I paid for it, so I'm like, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I paid $3.
Me too.
I gave you the choice. You could either pick the original or you could pick the remake.
That's true.
But either one we talk about, I'm gonna talk about the other one anyway. So
that's fair. And I'm kind of glad I watched this one because, and we'll get to it later, but because
they went for it, didn't they?
I'm curious. Before. So
went for it.
A lot of people, like when I asked them to come on the show, they're like, "Oh, I'm not an actor, or I'm not in the business." I don't know if you guys are, or if you're actors or writers or anything. What are you just movie fans? What do you?
Writer, director, producer.
Okay, and what are some stuff that you've worked on?
City of Salt was the most recent one that we just finished. It's a feature-length film. We're waiting on world premiere, and then we're on a festival run, and we're just waiting for distribution. And
can you talk about it?
It's a never-ending newborn. It's a perpetual newborn, as some people have told me, some wise people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
can you talk about a little bit what the movie is about? Or do you have to...
Yeah. So, essentially, it's a murder mystery, and it's set in Salt Lake City. So there are some cultural things that come up, but it's just because it takes place here.
Yeah.
We don't take sides on anything. It's just like these are people, these are humans who make mistakes kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a teenage girl who goes missing in the middle of her father's political campaign. And it's these detectives that are trying to dissect what happened to this missing girl. So it goes back and forth in time. It's not linear.
Okay.
And it comes out, pretty early on that she was a gay teen.
Okay.
So she disappeared after
So
coming out.
So she's really happy.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Or she's trying to be, right?
Yeah. As we all try to.
And so she disappears about a week after she came out, and so it's definitely a mystery film, and there are a lot of
interesting.
How long is it?
It is 1 hour and 56 minutes long.
Wow. Okay. How long did you work on this? You said that there's a lot of
about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your actors?
Up and comers, actually. We do have Rocky Anderson and Jim DeBacchus, who are playing Republican senators, so that makes it really interesting. But some of the leads are Lauren Catherine, who has already received 2 acting awards for this, and Jake Ulisich, who's received 1, and Stacey Lynn Bennett, who is also very amazing. And those are the leads. It's very much an ensemble piece, though.
Mm-hmm. What'd you shoot it on?
We shot it on a Sony FS5 and FS7, correct? Yeah, Sony.
Oh,
mostly on 5s.
It's very sexy, cinematography-wise, very sexy.
Who did it?
Kaylin Albert.
Kaylin Albert.
I don't know that one.
I don't know if I work with
I'm a really big nerd for selective focus and depth of field, and he had the style that I was looking for. And
Kaylin is amazing.
Nice. What was your budget?
Oh boy.
$200,000.
It looks like about $150K.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now that it wasn't.
Yeah, we'll just leave it that it was much.
It went over. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We'll just say
in post.
yes.
Post is horrid.
Post is where it was at.
And we're still shoveling out money for it.
You have
we've
to
got to
promote
get
it.
like the rating.
Yeah.
We've got to get like the QC done where they try to find a dead pixel, and it's still going. So
what's the process in your right now? Like you're just waiting for the premiere then, or
yes, the world premiere will hopefully be in April.
Awesome.
We're waiting to hear on where. We have a pretty good idea of where we're hoping, but it's all
our fingers are crossed. We're still hoping, but
awesome.
We've got some good stuff coming.
Independent film, man.
That's exciting.
And
yes.
springtime is where all the festivals start to boom, 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 boom. So right in April is where we're gonna hit like all these different
That's awesome.
festivals.
Are
so
you in Utah, or are you looking to go outside?
Oh, we're definitely outside.
Okay,
as
awesome.
Well. So
yeah,
there's very few actual film festivals in Utah that actually give a crap about local filmmakers. There's like the
I was
big
gonna
one.
Say, can you tell me one?
The big one. The big one that's happening like right now, and people are so excited for Sundance, and I keep telling them, I said they don't care about you.
Nope.
They do not care about the local filmmakers at Sundance, and I'll say that to their face. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anything to do with the local filmmakers. And even when they say, well, what about the film labs? If you've ever been up to the film labs, you have to, as local artists, you have to volunteer for your time. You're not allowed to stay up there. You're not allowed. You have to. You're basically treated like cattle. They do not cater to local talent, local filmmakers.
Music-wise, they do.
Well, I just.
But that's it.
I don't.
When it comes to the filmmakers, though, you're spot on.
Yeah, they don't care, and then all of a sudden you're in one of the movies and they treat you like royalty, and then the next year,
Punch Drunk Love or Napoleon
Dynamite. Yeah, they didn't give a crap. We were in Cannes for Punch Drunk. We didn't do Sundance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
well, we've been doing a lot of research, and it comes down to two basic factors that we didn't consider because we thought that marketing was going to be enough to get us there. But at the end of the day, it comes down to 2 things. Number 1, you need to have a bankable actor or actress.
Yeah,
you need to have a
you
name
have to have an
involved.
A-lister.
You know what an independent film means? It just means you're independent from the main studios, but it's not. They're not in any way, shape, or form.
Number
Those movies
2,
are not independent.
You
movies.
do have to attend their labs, and they do track that.
Yeah.
So the 2 films
have to
that were filmed in Utah. And I absolutely can't wait to see both of them. They both look absolutely amazing. But they were either, people coming in from LA who were just filming here. They maybe snagged a talent or 2 from the Utah scene, but they were not Utah filmmaker films at all.
No.
They were LA for sure.
All of them, yeah.
Or they had attended
and
the
you
labs.
have to, and you to get in, it's not like you'd hope it would be like an actual selection where like the other film festivals they'll watch it and on merit they'll let you come in. Even Slam Dance is the same way anymore.
I was just going to bring that up.
You can't get in anymore unless you have some kind of a.
But read their bio. Read their bio because they're like, oh yeah, we're totally different from Sundance because we actually care about people. Or it says like we give a shit. I think is what it says on the website. Yeah. And you're like,
Yeah, I think
What
that
is,
every time.
What is Slam Dance? I don't know that one.
It's just
it's across the street.
It's
from
okay.
Sundance.
It happens during the
It
same time. It
happens,
was like it kind of was a branch apart from. Then there's also Digi Dance, and there's a few others. They all
Why are
started,
they all dances?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because of sun.
Yeah.
Because of sun.
All right.
That's it.
But it's hard as a filmmaker. You have better luck going somewhere else and then getting momentum and then somehow like back stepping in.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You brought up these labs. I don't know what that means. What are these?
They're Sundance Institution labs that people
they're actually
can
at
attend
Sundance, though,
throughout
not in
the
Park
year.
City.
They're in Sundance itself, and they're quite expensive.
Where the rehab
You
center
know,
is.
They have screenwriter labs and all kinds of things, and we didn't really. I mean, at the time we were filming, so we couldn't afford to go, but. That is one of the ways that they track you realistically and that you're on their radar. But in all honesty, I'm kind of glad that we weren't accepted because it would have been a disservice to our cast and crew. Not everyone can afford Sundance tickets, and we're looking to premiere here at Ground Zero at an affordable rate where everyone can come, and bring their family, their moms and dads and sisters and cousins.
Is it a family film?
No, but I think so
so
kinda.
don't bring the whole fam.
It's PG-13, so
Okay.
I think.
Well, I learned that lesson that some people get very upset when you tell them to watch PG-13 films. I just recently found out someone got all upset at someone I know because they suggested a PG-13 film and they went, "I do not watch that filth." Whoa, sheesh!
I am banking on people getting angry.
PG-13.
And that's the whole point.
Hey, you're talking to the right person. Jim would love your movie then.
Really, because it brings up a lot of issues that are not addressed for a variety of reasons. Number one, because things are oftentimes
like
swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And suicide and gun violence and drug use.
So easy topics.
Exactly. And so it takes place in Utah, but it's not just a Utah thing.
Yeah, obviously.
It's
and it's not
everywhere.
demonizing. This is a Greek tragedy. At the end of the day, it's a morality play. So all of the characters are flawed. It's not saying, hey, this character is better because they were this religion or they chose this moral path. It's not like that at all.
Did you draw any inspiration on any other movies
Obviously Paddington.
Obviously Paddington. No, I drew a lot of
British
influence,
accent.
honestly, from Twin Peaks, the series.
Okay.
From the 80s, and also Mystic River.
I don't know Mystic River.
It's an Oscar-winning film with Sean Penn.
All of them, Kevin Bacon. There was. It's a good
I'll
one
have to
too.
go check it out.
Yeah, it's one of those that you can find, and you're like, why don't I know about this movie? It's a
The
Mystic
crime
River's
scene
great.
itself was heavily influenced by those films.
Okay.
The rest of what happens in that movie, not.
Just
It's
your
its
own.
Well, that's
entity.
a good thing. That's a good thing about big like Oscar-winning movies. Like as we were talking about earlier, like the list of the movies that we're talking about this year, that me and Brady are like completely passionate about, and we're talking about, and we're trying to teach and talk to people about Terminator: Dark Fate, which was a failure.
Not one of the movies that
it is a failure considered, like it's considered a commercial failure,
Like
a bomb, a flop. More people went and saw Terminator: Dark Fate than any of the movies that we talk about in this program.
I haven't seen it. Now I'm gonna have to.
Terminator's terrible. It's a terrible. They've done it wrong. And like when we talk about Alien, if they want to go back and reboot the Terminator, the Aliens, or the Rambos, they need to go back and make them small again and make them intimate and make it
the only reason why I don't want to talk about this for too long, but like Terminator being a bomb is because the budget is so high.
Yeah.
And then it goes to your point, is like,
but yet we're talking about these movies that were like, oh my gosh, did you see and how great it was? And yet it made nothing.
Whereas
nobody saw it, and in 10 years, nobody will even know what Mystic River is.
But like for an example, Jojo Rabbit, it's an incredibly cheap movie and it made a lot of money.
I want to see that really bad.
So good,
so good.
Is it?
So good.
I want to see it so bad.
Have you seen any of his other movies?
The
director?
Taika Waititi's
I don't
movie?
think so.
Okay, so he did he started on the independent scene, and then he started writing for Jermaine and for the Flight of the Conchords. He was a writer for them, and then he did the TV show, and then he made a movie called What We Do in the Shadows, which is a mockumentary about
that as well.
And then he did Hunt for the Wilder People, and then he got an opportunity to make Thor Ragnarok. And he made a huge Marvel movie, and it killed. and then he went back and now he's made another independent film. So he's one of the few people that's gotten the opportunity to go from these small little independent films and these like smart little movies to the big productions.
So going from Marvel to back to his indie roots.
Yeah, he gets to do whatever he wants now.
Yeah, because
I dig that.
Because now Star Wars, because he did a few episodes of he did one episode of The Mandalorian.
Fantastic.
And
that's something I have not seen yet, and I'm dying to see it. I got to get on top of that.
It's a fun and well, to go off that real quick I like it because they give so many opportunities to people that you would never see direct a Star Wars movie. Like Deborah Chow, she did one.
Oh, really?
You had
Bryce Dallas Howard.
I was just trying to think of.
But that's a lot of the people that get a chance from the small little independent films. They're throwing these big, huge movies at them, and then they don't quite work because they also tie their hands and don't let them do it. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't become successful. Then somehow they don't get to make any more movies anymore. Where Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi, he got to do it. And so when you watch Jojo Rabbit, you got to watch his quirkiness, and he basically makes a movie about a young little Nazi boy who's trying to be the best little Nazi boy that he can be. And in Nazi Germany during that time, where if you don't say you love Nazi Germany, you're dead. And then all of a sudden it goes from like this cute little, like his best friend is an imaginary friend of Hitler to
who's played by Taika Waititi,
who is, and all of a sudden it goes from like this, like you believe it and you're like, okay, to where it becomes a very real thing, to all of a sudden his ability to make these big, huge movies like Thor Ragnarok, and it goes from like this cute little 10-year-old's world to he's in the middle of a war zone, and it's very real, and you're going, holy crap, how did it go from this little like thing I was laughing at to all of a sudden
you're crying your eyes out?
Yeah, it kicks you right in the throat, and its payoff is awesome, and then all of a sudden ends itself again with a really good little story and with a little message, and you're all like, okay.
How was Scarlett Johansson?
She was my favorite. Yeah,
that was the comedy this year.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing is that I don't know if you watched. Have you seen
comedy?
It was
Have you seen
Germany.
Marriage Story?
I have. Yeah.
So
laughing at Hitler
because what's her name's winning all the best supporting actresses kind of awards right now. The agent from the lawyer from Laura Dern.
Yeah.
She's winning all these awards, and after I was like, yeah, I really liked her in Marriage Story, but after I saw Jojo Rabbit, I was like, how is Scarlett not winning?
She was so good.
She's very good,
yeah.
And
when I said Marriage Story, I was like, everyone was talking about how good she was in Marriage Story, and I hate Marriage Story, and I was like, but she was so good. I'm like, she was so much better in Jojo Rabbit. She was so much more it's just a good movie. If you haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, that's the one that you should spend money on.
Have you seen any of the other 9?
I want to see 1917 really bad, just because of like the one take.
Get right in there. You got to get right in there.
Choreography that it took, the months and months of practice. I want to see 1917.
So you have to make sure you eat the microphone. The microphone, it's very linear. But 19. I was talking to Jim about this before. 1917. I think Parasite are the two that are kind of running away.
Ooh, I want to see Parasite.
Parasite's fun. I mean, it's very interesting.
War.
It's a very interesting take because you think it's going to be like like a disease thing, like the name of Parasite, but the way that they kind of change it up is really interesting, and I enjoyed it. I don't think it was as great as everyone said it was, but I think it was fun. It still ranks in the top half of my.
Mm-hmm.
Of the Oscar movies that I've seen this year. But
yeah, that was a Golden Globe winner, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, did it? No,
not
it didn't.
Golden Globe. What was it?
SAG.
Awkwafina did win something for the farewell, which we got through about half of that.
Did you not like it
so far?
Or just long?
He needed his glasses because
he's old.
Yep.
Well, it's subtitles, right?
Subtitles.
And
we couldn't find him, and we were like, shit. Okay.
Oh,
well. That's the thing is like, and the same thing with Roma last year. That's why I kind of forced myself to go see Parasite in the theater, and the same thing with like
because you can't stop it.
You can't stop. Like with Roma, for example, last year it's such a long movie, and it's subtitled obviously throughout the whole thing. That if it's on Netflix, you you can be on your phone. You're like scrolling through Twitter throughout the entire. Whereas
Guilty.
like I was forced to kind of be in the theater and sit through Parasite and actually read the subtitles, and it's funnier than it's a lot funnier than Roma was, and I liked it a lot better than Roma. So
nobody watched Roma either.
No,
I don't even know what that is.
It was up for Best Picture last year.
Well,
that sums it up.
Yeah, that's why my point is that me and Brady, like, we spend so much time. This is like our favorite. This is our Super Bowl.
Yeah,
this is like our favorite thing in the years. Like all these movies that we spend so much time discussing and going through and dissecting, and nobody watches them.
Yeah. Do you have any movies this year that you? I don't know if you go see many movies or not, but do you have one in particular that you like loved this year that just kind of stands out amongst all the other ones?
Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, I think,
right
is one that really stuck out for me.
It was the funniest movie I saw all year. It was hilarious.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't get it because they're not into the whole art house vibe and stuff.
Yeah, and it was. I thought it was hilarious to watch these people go insane.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely insane, and everyone. And
do you think they're two different people, or do you think
they're the same person? I read the original
take?
script, and it said young and old, and it's actually a Jungian take on confronting the shadow self.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't even.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm an A24 junkie.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm a huge art house film person. I really liked Midsummer as well.
See, Uncut Gems was my favorite this year.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, that one gave me.
I was like, there's one.
We've been trying to see that.
We've been trying to see it. It was at Broovies.
It gave me a panic attack.
Do you like Broovies? I've actually never gone.
I love Broovies. Their food is amazing, and I just want to eat it right now.
They're not sponsored, but if they
I was just going to say, we're not getting paid for that, but if they want to give us a call, we're all down for that.
Pork nachos, their wings, pizzas.
I've liked that.
Go.
Here's the thing with like Broovies and like places that like serve, because the AMC that I go to now, they kind of serve you while you're eating as well, and I like you have to be in the right area, because if you know where you're going, like, and they serve you, they kind of can distract you a little bit. But if you know you're walking into a place that like they're going to serve you while the movie's going on, it's like, okay.
Do they serve beer?
At the AMC, they do not. They advertise it, though. They do, because like apparently in other AMCs across the country, they have bars. Actually, the one in
Anaheim. They were showing that they.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
but neither of us drink, so.
In Anaheim,
I like some dark beers.
I'm sorry.
And,
no, I'm just kidding.
I already did all that drink. I already did enough of it for everyone.
Oh yeah, that was my '90s.
Yeah,
don't ask me about my '90s years.
Beer and nachos, guys. Beer and nachos.
I don't care whatever anybody like if people want to bash themselves in the face with a rock, and that's what that I don't care. I honestly, I've done enough in my life that I know what I like to do when I want, and I don't drink anymore for.
Good for you.
For good
drink
reasons.
Kerosene and eat mud, like in the Lighthouse.
If that's what you want.
Sometimes.
Okay, so those are that's actually
the best
a really
way to
good
go
one.
blind.
When he gets a hold of that bird finally.
Oh God.
I laughed and I laughed and I laughed.
That was.
I still haven't seen. I was going to say Parasite.
Lighthouse.
So.
Oh, man.
The sound design alone is sexy.
It's bad luck. It's bad luck to mess with the birds. You're supposed to leave the birds alone. It's bad luck to mess with them.
Yeah, you never mess with the seabird.
Yeah.
Okay. You will be cursed.
So I like The Witch, and I know
The Witch is great.
So I need to go back. I need to catch it. It's just one of those that left me.
And Hereditary and Midsummer. I'm just a huge A24 fan. I've actually gone into the abyss and the rabbit hole of the A24 films
Midsummer,
as well.
that girl's the same girl that's in Little
Yes.
Women.
She had quite a year, because she also did Fighting with My Family, too.
She did.
And that's another movie nobody ever saw. But
I did.
You saw. But I didn't see, but I know that everyone else didn't see it. And
I haven't seen it.
It was a half of a really good movie.
Yeah?
And
First half or second half?
It kind of like it turned into the movie I didn't want it to be. It was everything it wasn't. Like it was a really good movie, and then it turned into the exact same movie that I've seen before.
Okay.
And then I was like, why didn't you could have? They should have just stuck with what they were going, and then it kind of just sold itself out to. Now, I mean, if I told you what the movie's about, you're like, that's what I figured it'd be about.
It's a true story on the famous WWE wrestler. What's her name?
I couldn't tell you her name, but she came up and from a fighting family, and brother wanted to be a fighter, and she didn't even really want to do it too much. She just kind of did it, and then turned into a big, huge star. And,
So if you like Florence Pugh, that's a good one to check out.
And she turned into a great big huge star.
One of the she's like the greatest WWE female wrestler of all time. So whoever I don't know, I don't watch.
I still
WWE.
call it WWF.
I don't know that.
Yeah, until the Worldwide Foundation stepped in and like, hey, excuse us, we already have that.
Yeah,
you guys are scum.
Yeah, I used to watch WWF back with Randy Savage, Junkyard Dog, and I used to watch that with
when Hulk Hogan was actually still a Hulk and not.
So it's gonna be weird to see.
Rowdy Piper is one of my favorite ever, and his movie, which is one I'll eventually pick. That he does a movie where he finds these sunglasses where he can see. It's called They, and he could see the aliens with these sunglasses.
They Live or
They Live or whatever.
Carpenter is my favorite director of all time.
Okay, why is that?
He's amazing. He does all his own score as well, but he just has this surreal touch to him.
Mm-hmm.
And They Live has a 10-minute long fighting scene that's completely awkward, but it's epic. If you have not seen it.
I came here to kick butt and eat bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yep.
It's been a while since
I love
I've
the
seen
original Fog. I love Big Trouble Little China, and just all Carpenter. Except for his newer stuff.
My movie that just premiered 20 minutes ago has an homage to
yesterday.
Big Trouble Little China.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the very end of it, if you watch to the very, very end, there's the whole speech where he's all like, "The check is in the mail." It's in there. But basically I figured out how to make Alexa say whatever I want.
Nice.
Fantastic.
And so I have it's my brother is having like a midlife crisis, and he's like, all I do is go to work and nobody's listening to me, and he's in a relationship with Alexa, and so him and Alexa have this like spouse fight, and Alexa's telling him to tie on a pair, and he's like, I just want someone to listen to me. And she's like, I can't do girlfriend right now with you. And then
I love it.
And it's like this fun little thing because what I like to do is I'll just pull out from concept to shot to first edit was about 2.5 hours. Like I'll pull out a paper with my brother and say, we're shooting something right now. And then within an hour we had all of our footage. I went home, I had a rough cut, and I had had it done within about 2-3 hours.
Than me.
and then I've had it done for about a week, but I couldn't release it because I just released one last week. So now, and so I don't give director credits. I don't give just whoever's in the room at that time was written and produced by. That's all. It's the only credit I give. Nice. And then it's under my production, another smooth production. But the rest of it I don't care about.
We need links. We need proof.
We'll post it on our. We'll post it tonight on the movie hour because it's going to be out by the time we get home today. But
I'll make another one, and then because a lot of times you bring 3 filmmakers in a room and you say let's make something, and after a 6-7 hour conversation about when we're going to talk again, when we're going to meet again, you have 5 different ideas, and everyone's arguing, and then it's an argument to get to the next meeting, and I'm more of along the lines of like, well, what's our script? I'm like, it's done. I already shot it. It's done. It's in the can. And then I went home, figured out how to make Alexa say what I wanted her to. And then even the people that don't like it, because it gets pretty crass. It gets pretty crass, and I love it.
I like crass.
But it's but even the people that don't like it, they're like, how did you get Alexa to do that? Are you afraid that they're going to sue you? And I'm like, I'd love to get sued by Alexa. If they see it, if enough eyes get on it that I get sued by
or
Google.
Amazon.
We also say Amazon, we say Google, all of them. I would love to get sued by them. You know what that means?
More publicity for you.
More publicity for me. I'd love to have Google tell me I need to take my movie off the internet. That would be awesome.
Like a cease and desist.
Yep, I'd love it. Sue me.
We speaking of love,
what are you going to take my PlayStation?
It's all yours. Enjoy.
Well,
half my debt.
We can let's transition to the two movies. Two movies.
See, look at that. That all blew by. If we don't, we'll run out of time again. Let's do Paddington real quick.
Paddington 2.
Because I'm going to give you. You finally got me. The by far my favorite is the inside the police station in the jail cell, the knuckles, the turning in all the way down to the very end where they turn it into the little musical number with it got me, dude. Like there's some parts of it that's so over the top, cheesy, so stupid that I'm just like, this is such crap. And then all of a sudden I find myself just sucked in, going, like the pink sock, the red sock, and they're all wearing pink outfits. And there's actually a real jail cell in like Arizona where the warden makes them all wear pink. There's like a real thing they do that, but they're all wearing the pink, jumpsuits and dude, there's some of that stuff in that movie, like and Hugh Grant, by far the best performance I've seen Hugh Grant do in a long time. He was and he doesn't look. I mean, he has all of his headshots when he was all handsome and like and he's old now. Yeah, and he just lived in it and he was fine. And I was like, damn it. Like this movie. I mean, it's not like one of those movies where I would in a million years say Paddington 2 is like one of my favorite movies, but I was in, dude. I was sold. I didn't turn it off. I turned it from when I turned it on to when I finished it. I even watched the credits just to see if they put up any more after credit scenes.
Wow. So there's a little backstory of this, because the very first episode we ever did, I suggested watching Paddington 1 because I thought
I just got done watching The Shape of Water. Which is the same lady.
Oh, what's her name? It's gonna bug me.
She's naked through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yet she's the mom in the Paddingtons, and she's gorgeous. She is so gorgeous. And even in this, still, I think she'd make a great Harley Quinn or something with that big smile that she has. And I'm like, man, she's so gorgeous, and she's so awkwardly gorgeous.
Sally Hawkins.
Yeah, she's great, but I could not get Shape of Water out of my head, and I couldn't get through Paddington. I just couldn't do it. I didn't give a crap about Marley.
I have seen the first one. The second one I haven't had a chance to see.
So the second one, and it's interesting, is the most reviewed movie on Rotten Tomatoes with 100% still.
Like I'd give it an A.
It's the most like.
Maybe we should force our teenage girls to watch it,
so you guys can watch it.
I had a great time, and I think I watched because I couldn't sleep last night. Like I've been having trouble sleeping. I'm looking for work. I need a job, and so I've been looking for work, and so my stress comes in at weird times at 2:30 last night. Just up like ding. Took the dog for a walk. And I'm just like. Well, it's on HBO, Paddington. All right, let's see. I'll fall asleep to this, is what I said.
Yeah, and you finished it. It'll make your heart smile. That's what I say.
It did. It made my heart smile.
It's just a happy movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed Paddington too.
And him turning into all the different characters, and him just like, what gorgeous eyes that lady has, that man has.
Such a happy little bear. Yeah, I highly suggest it. Like,
but at the same time, I keep going. In what world are they okay with a bear just hanging out and going to jail? And
where's PETA? Right. Why is this
just
bear
going to normal
jail
and like just bring into London, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
Totally. But yeah, I highly suggest watching it. I mean, it's like I said, it'll make your heart happy.
Yeah,
to balance out the lighthouse and all of
exactly
us.
all the depression. And speaking of movies that make you just kind of want to grind your
Oldboy.
Jim.
Okay.
I thought for sure you'd turn it off because you picked the wrong one. Because I gave you the choice. Yeah. You could pick the original one, the Korean
I like
original.
Elizabeth Olsen.
And
me too, though.
She sure is pretty. Or you could do the remake.
Yeah.
And you went with the remake, which is fine, but it's the problem with the remake is the problem I have with a lot of Americanized remakes is they take it too far from the original source material, where they didn't need to take it to. They could have told the exact same story that was in Oldboy, the original Oldboy. Yep. And as a matter of fact, there's a scene like when he goes in when he first gets out and he's trying to hunt down the food that he was eating.
Yeah, the dumplings.
And there's the big octopus that's sucked up onto the tank. I don't know if you remember that scene. There's like an icon. There's in the original one. There's a scene when he first gets out. He eats a live octopus, and as he's eating it, it's like wrapped around his face, like trying to not be eaten. He's like, and so it's like an iconic scene in the original, and so that was like their homage to it. But it's But they went so far with it, and there are parts of it that I like a lot.
Yeah, I want to talk about what we liked and didn't like about it. The one thing that I didn't like about it is that I don't understand how he becomes John Wick, and how she's
from lifting books.
Yeah, like that's all he's doing is like lifting and like getting super
watching.
strong. And then how does she become such a professional liar?
Yeah,
like because she's just a nurse, right? And then she like
they
goes
kinda,
into that.
They kind of filled. That's the part that bothered me is they took a lot of that. They just kind of forget it. Like,
I was like, I don't understand.
Even though it was a cool shot when he beat up like 92 dudes.
That was great choreography.
It was cool. But
and
it came
the
out of
moving
nowhere.
between sets.
Yeah,
it came out of nowhere and didn't explain it. And
he was just really good at it. And I was like, I don't understand. Like I've seen him get really strong, and is that all it takes to be
in the original one
for 20 years?
Again, in the original one, when he has that hammer, when he starts with a hammer, well, what he does to the Samuel L. Jackson character is he actually notches out all of his teeth with the back end of the hammer, like snaps them. And so it's
instead of cutting his neck. That part was
well,
really hard to watch.
I mean, if you've ever seen the original Ring or Grudge, I mean, they're way more intense than the Americanized version.
But they went too far when some of the same concepts were there, but they went too far with it to where what would it take for the end payoff? And then some of the language, even for me, was just like it was unnecessary. It made it to the point where it was hard. I was like, Brady's not going to watch this just because of the language is so Samuel Jackson.
Was the motive the same for the villain?
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought that was just the most odd thing to get mad at somebody for. It was like you caused my
family love.
You caught my sister and my dad doing it, so I will destroy you.
Well, it wasn't about that.
It wasn't even that.
It was about.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's if you notice before he got shot by a shotgun.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to get some loving too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was an incestuous family.
Yeah, they loved each other.
They loved.
Now you know how it feels.
Yeah, and so what the entire payoff was. Could he set it? That's what the 20 years away was. Could he set it up to where he could show him how easy it was to love someone that you're not they tell you you're not supposed to love your family like that. Like he didn't see it as incestuous, blah blah blah. He loved his father, and so when they were doing that stuff, he took away his lover basically, and so that's why he turned his own daughter into
that was interesting because I was like, man, this is another like Hollywood trope. Josh Brolin's probably like 30 years older than Elizabeth Olsen,
easily.
And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then the ending was, oh, okay,
yeah.
Yeah,
it was quite predictable. But what I did appreciate about it was, and I don't know if this is in the original, but don't believe what you see on TV because this guy is seriously
that was a lot of that
conditioned in this cell, this hotel room, right?
Yeah,
and he's thinking he's watching this. This crime TV, and it's
none of that's happening in the original one.
Fake news.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They were able.
Don't believe what you see on TV.
That's the stuff I did like is they were able to use the TV as his only source where he was able to watch
because you believed it.
Yeah, he was watching that stuff and so there were similarities but differences, but they definitely went much further to the point where it became uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I honestly didn't think he'd get through it, and it took so long. And that actor, the guy that acts in it, I don't know what happened because he had a really hit. He did A-Team, he did District 9.
Oh yeah, that's what he's from. I remembered him from A-Team.
He did this one like all in a row, and now he's kind of like I don't see him anymore. But that dude, he must get so into his characters that people probably have a hard time working with him. Because he's like that in
Who, Josh Brolin?
No, the bad guy.
I don't think
he's the same guy. He's the lead of District 9. He was Murdoch in A-Team. He always plays these weird. He's actually South African.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And he's very much method actor to the point where I think he gets too far into it to where I think he's probably a huge pain in the ass to work with. Is what I'm thinking. But District 9 was almost my pick this week for my movie. I almost then the fact you haven't seen it. I will.
How do you guys choose these films? Are they like in a raffle?
No.
How in the hell did you partner Paddington 2?
It's things that
with
like
Oldboy?
he wanted it's just things that they go through the week. He's like, I want them to
forgotten gems, and we don't like to talk about the brand new movies that just came out because we can't really talk about them. Because I can't tell you the new and now this time of year is really hard because nothing's coming out. But it's hard to talk about the brand new movie that we can't talk about. All we can do is tease. How do we? It's hard to fill any there's no conversation there.
Right.
And so the whole concept of the show basically formed more around the stuff, the forgotten movies, the unappreciated movies, the ones that where did it? So we can actually talk about movies because we want to talk movies, not a movie premiere tease show. That's not what this show is. This is we've spent the last hour talking what. Movies. We're not talking about what's coming out or what we could go into directors. We could go into like different kind of, styles, what you like, your favorite carpenters. We're talking movies here. We're not talking about what may or may not have happened in the movie that came out this week that I can't talk to you about.
But I can't
have
everyone see.
So that's the concept of the show. So that's where it came. It really comes from, and then the fact that Brady's the only other person that I know that watches movies as much as I do, to the point where it really came down to when we were watching A Shape of Water. And
love it.
We're laughing at the end of the movie because I'm like, I don't know if I love that movie or if it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Both,
but at the same time, he's the other person that watches them with me, and so that's where we started. Where we're like, well, we could talk about Paddington 2 and Oldboy in the same episode, and have and not everyone's going to get along, and some people are like, I don't want to watch those movies, and that's fine. But that's where and people tell me I need to be nicer, and I'm like, because I'm a little bit too aggressive, and I'm like, Brady's the nice guy. Brady's got the heart of gold. He's the one that makes me watch. he reminds me to watch Paddington 2, and I'm the one that's like, okay, well let me throw the.
Now I have to watch both.
It's the good critic, bad critic kind of thing like that.
Exactly.
It's a different way of looking at it, but we both will watch anything to we'll go, okay, I watched your movie. Now you better have something to say about it other than
gotcha.
Right.
Now back it up, buddy. And so that's where it started, and now here we are a year later, and now we can go Paddington 2 and Oldboy in the same episode. And we can bring these movies back from a long time ago, where now we can say, like, we bring people on like yourselves, and you're like, did you check out this? And we found all sorts of cool movies that I didn't even know about, just from people go, well, did you see this? And I'm like, no. And
the one that we kind of both agree is the Peanut Butter Falcon is like the one that we heard from just around
Peanut Butter Falcon and Good Time.
Good Time.
It's by far the two, like, because I can't stand Robert Pattinson, and I can't stand Robert Pattinson, and but you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. He is a fantastic actor, and I was 100% proven wrong. And I said, okay, I'll watch it.
Go watch Good Time on Amazon Prime.
Go watch Good Time on Amazon Prime tonight, and you'll go, oh my gosh.
Well, I will say,
wow.
What changed my
that's what got him Batman.
What changed my opinion was Lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, look at this. He's not a sparkly vampire anymore.
Good Time's the one that got him Batman. That's how come he's doing Batman. And these are the same guys that did the Safdie brothers, who were my new favorite directors, who just did Uncut Gems. Same directors.
So I got a question. This is for both of you. Now, for me,
I've never seen Safdie.
I have
so good.
I have
panic. Who can say that? It's not horror. It's not.
I told John
they invoke panic out of
you. It's an anxiety, right? Is what I've read.
Yep. They cause anxiety. Who does that?
John, you were saying?
I like it. Oh no, I was just gonna say out of that, I have 3 top films. I was wondering what you guys, if you have actually your top 3. So mine's Amadeus, Dead Poet Society, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Right?
It's very solid.
See, and I kind of have a similar thing where I have like my favorite movies, but then Cable Guy is one of my favorites.
Right.
I love.
So what's yours?
My all-time favorite movie is Warrior, and that's usually the one I go to. Hitch is another one that I've seen many times. I love Hitch. And then
Amadeus is a good one I haven't seen in a while. Lobster's really high on my list.
As a musician, like Amadeus and like the whole, so. But yeah.
Yeah. So,
usually those two, though. Those are the two I usually
they'll
say.
change
Princess Bride for me, guys.
Princess Bride. Forrest Gump. I can't help but love Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the first movie even my son.
That's within my top 10.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump's in my top 10.
And well,
my
next
top
week,
3
so next week Super Bowl's this week.
Yep.
And so next week we're actually doing
I gotta switch up my
we actually have to talk about next week our favorite sports films with the guest we're bringing on, who was our first ever guest. So we actually have to go into sports mode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never even ranked my top 5 favorite sports films. And that was Ryan Templeman's coming back, and he's going, dude, let's do it. Let's talk about our favorite sports films.
We like Ryan.
Trying to think.
Going on the Safdie brothers real quick because I want to go on Good Time before we leave. Good Time is I like Good Time better than Uncut Gems because you have a reason to kind of care for the main character.
And that's on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
The whole
it's all red,
point,
a big red thing with Robert Pattinson's face on it.
The whole point is that like there's 2 brothers. One of them is like kind of a special needs.
Who's one of the directors, by the way.
Yeah, and he Robert Pattinson uses him to like go rob places. Like he uses them to distract people, and then he goes and like robs the bank. And then his brother gets caught, and now he's in jail. And now the whole premise of the movie is Robert Pattinson, who's an awful human being, but he's trying to go get his brother out of jail. And that's the movie. And it's completely the same.
Terrible people.
Anxiety, but you're like you care about the brother because it's not his fault.
Yeah.
But it's the anxiety, like it just built like just something around your neck the entire time.
And well, like even when we're watching Uncut Gems, and I've already seen it 3 times at this point. His little sister's next to him having a panic attack, and I'm like, how you doing? Because I see him, he's just sitting there, just twitching his hands. He's like, I'm all right. Tamby's over here having a panic attack. I told her to leave. She said no. And
that's what I hear.
Yep. It is a quite unique experience. But let's do our movie challenges and then
Big Trouble Little China.
Big Trouble Little China.
And the reason why I did it is because of because a lot of people I had an homage to Master Blaster in this movie that came out just premiered today, and I was like, who runs Bartertown? I guess that makes me Master Blaster, and everyone's like, what is that? And I'm like, you guys don't know.
Never seen it. So
like, you guys never seen Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome? Like, it's like, and like only my brother got it, and my one brother, he goes, dude, that's brilliant. He goes, I don't think anyone will get it though. And so I switched it to now there's a little homage to, but it was always the Jack Burton thing was in there, but nobody knows who Jack Burton is. I'm like, but it's on HBO right now, and so Big Trouble Little China is my film, John Carpenter, HBO.
Okay, cool.
And it's also just as you're watching it, of the video game Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
It is actually the unofficial origin story for Mortal Kombat.
Indeed.
You'll see actually 3, 4, 5 different characters that are in there. Johnny Cage, Liu Kang. Like there's they're all in there. That it started from Big Trouble Little China.
Sure did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
The movie that I'm going to give you completely off. This is where it gets
Paddington
fun.
3.
Yeah, no. the trilogy. No. Men in Black.
The first one?
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Men in Black. It's part of my childhood, and I like catching up on it every now and then.
The Men in Black. That started that whole thing that he
and
couldn't make a movie with.
And it's kind of a brief movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty short.
He had to have a dance video after every movie he did. Speaking
of movie like franchises that they just can't get right after the first one, right?
Yeah,
it's just like they just killed it.
Second one's.
No, I don't like the second one. Actually,
I'm gonna have to go back. I don't know. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go find out.
I
like the third one because I like Jermaine a lot.
Yeah. Well, and John, you got John Travolta,
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
See
on
that?
it.
It's all reciprocal. What's that word? Reciprocating. And it's in a circle.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. It was great.
It was great. Thank you for having us over.
And you're gonna have to let us know when your movie comes out,
and we'll ignore it.
Yeah. We won't ignore it. Yeah. We'll go. He kids. Really.
You can talk about it in a year when it's no longer
relevant. When everyone's forgotten about it and it's a hidden gem.
It's popular and everyone's like, I told you guys should go see that. I told you that a year ago.
It's a cult classic in the making.
Also, I wanna do another shout out. I was like, go and see Jumanji this weekend. Not to go see Jumanji, but Matthew's short is playing in front of it right now. So
is it?
Yeah. We had a guest on our show about in July for his show Short Hair Love, and I loved it a lot. And I was like, okay, well, it's like, are you gonna petition this to go get?
I saw Just Mercy as well,
nominated for an Oscar, and he's like, well, we'll see what happens. Lo and behold, a few months later, he's on the short list to get nominated for his best short. And then he ends up getting nominated for Best Animated Short. And now they're making an Oscar run, and it's playing in front of Jumanji right now. So.
Yeah, I saw Just Mercy. I watched a few because you tell me you saw that
Just
one?
Mercy. Yeah, it's a tough.
I watched that one
tough
too.
One.
Yeah, I like that Michael
Hair
B. Jordan.
Hair Love it, and it's on YouTube right now. If you want to go and watch it, I think it should win.
I'm on it.
It's only like 6 minutes long.
We had him on. Now he's too big to come back.
I asked for him to come back on, and he left me on red.
Well, I'm kind of bigger than that.
He was on the next
For
morning.
how much per hour?
USA Today. So I mean,
yeah, it happens.
However, we can always replay our interview with him.
Exactly right.
We had him first.
When he wins, when he wins, I'll be like, I called it.
That's
anyway,
right.
we thank you for coming on.
Yep.
And
Thanks.
Yeah, thank
we'll
you.
see y'all next week.
Hi, Mom.